Good morning, traders. Welcome to this week's ELLIOTTWAVE Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. I hope you all had a wonderful week. Another great week after the end of May. We are now in June. It has been a choppy month of May, but we have been able to get some really decent trade setups. And on Friday, we had the NFP. So talking about the NFP, those are fundamental news. So there's always been a question. I get a lot of questions about how do you incorporate fundamentals into your trading strategy, or do you even consider fundamentals at all? So before we even talk about that, I want to refer you to a video I did. This was over a year ago. Let me just check here. If you go to the video, fundamental versus technical analysis, that was a year ago. Just go to the channel and look at that video. If we get some time during the week, we're going to do a specific video on fundamentals versus technical analysis. But to answer that question this morning, we will be going through the trade setups and show you exactly how we forecasted the NFP outcome. Okay, we're going to look at that shortly, but in the meantime, when you watch this, you can refer back to this video. We'll try to take the video on YouTube as it plays so you can get it easily. So that is the video from a year ago. I cannot exactly see the date. Let me just see if I can see the date here. So just check it out there. That video with 4,800 views. Then there's a couple of theories that we've done over a year ago that you can check out there. So that is those videos that you can check to answer those questions. Now let's get into this week's analysis. If you'd like to contact us, you can go under the description of all our videos. You'll get details of our contact, all our contact details. So let's just have a look here. So how you can contact us. Let's go to our channel here. Let's go to our channel here. Right, so go to our channel. Under the description of all our videos, you'll find the contact details, including the link to our website. This is our website, that is ELLIOTTWAVE-principle.com. You'll find information about how our services are structured and how you can benefit from those. All right, so that is ELLIOTTWAVE-principle.com. You'll find the link under the description of all the videos. You will also find under the description of the videos the contact details that you can use via WhatsApp as well as Telegram. Now, let's get started with this week's analysis. So we're going to start with Euro US dollar. So I want to take you through the process that we went through over the week from Monday up until the NFP, and this was on Euro US dollar. So these charts were shared with members. So the first one here was the chart that was shared. Let's just make sure of the date here. Let's just check the timestamp. This was the 24th of May. Okay, the NFP, this was 10 days before the NFP played out. So this is trying to answer the question, how do fundamentals affect technical analysis or vice versa? Right, so this was the chart on Euro US dollar. As you guys know, we have been looking at this as a wave 1 and a 2 in the minor red degree, and we have been looking at this as a lower degree in the green, 1, 2, 3 for more move to the upside. So that was the focus on the 24th. We were looking at this to be starting a diagonal within this degree. So that means that wave 1 in the green degree was starting out as a diagonal. We expected that this was going to be a complete diagonal. We get a corrective structure, and then we make a move to the upside. Now, look at that chart and you'll see the next charts, how they've played out. So now that was the first one. That was the analysis. Look at how this plays out. So remember, we wanted this to push to the upside to complete the diagonal. The diagonal completes in the purple degree, as you can see here. So as much as the diagonal has completed, remember, we were still looking for this to be a three-wave structure, for this to reverse around this area, and then for this to make a move to the upside. Let's check the timestamp on this one. Just check out when this was. So this was 4 days later. So this is the first chart was the 24th. 4 days later, we complete that move. So that plays out. We break out of this structure. We make a move to the upside as forecasted, and then we make a move to the downside. Even with this to the downside, we still expected that we're going to get a pullback and then a move to the downside. Now let's look at the next chart and see how that has played out, right? So we're still trying to understand how does fundamentals, or how do fundamentals affect the markets? So this is another chart now. So far we've got the move to the upside, we've got the move to the downside. Now the B here, even when this looked like it was making a move to the upside, because we understand the structure and the sequence, we understood that this was not ready for a move to the upside. So we forecasted that we're going to get a move to the downside and then upside. How many moves have played out so far? 1, 2, 3. We're now still looking for 4 and a 5. So let's see how that has played out. So this one was now, let's see, this was now again another 3 days later after that has played out. So remember, these charts are updated every day at the start of the London session. That is at 8 a.m. GMT. All these 1 hour charts are updated. Now, we've got 1, 2, 3. We're expecting the next one to the downside. Okay, let's see how this plays out. Now, remember, now this is now a couple of days before the NFP. And this is in a 1 hour chart. So we're looking for this to come and reverse in the blue box and make a move to the upside, right? So that is the next one here. So we go into the blue box, forecasted, and then we bounce up. Now, this is what was happening during the NFP. So this morning during the not this morning, the morning before the NFP, that is at 8 a.m. GMT at our live training room, we were exactly here, and we were saying that this is at the blue box, so we are expecting a reaction at this area. We didn't know what the outcome of the NFP was going to be, what the unemployment numbers were going to be. We had no information about that. The only thing that we had information about was the structure, the sequence, the cycle, as well as the confirmation by the indicator that this is how the move is going to play out. Now, count the number of waves that we forecasted here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're looking for upside. Now, how do you trade this? We don't trade every move just because we know the direction. We trade with the trend. We're trading the trend. So this was a pullback, and this is how we traded Euro US dollar. Inch perfect trade setup, and it was not the only one. All the US dollar pairs obviously will relate. Look at the US dollar chief. We expected it to make a 3-wave pullback. This was also on the 5th of May. So the 25th of May, members got this chart expecting that we are going to play out a corrective structure there, and then we're going to get a move to the downside. So look at that. So this was playing out just like the euro. We make a move to the downside. We expected it to make the inverse of what the euro US dollar was doing. Then we expected it to reverse. Now check what happened during the NFP. We were here during the NFP. We actually gapped to the downside right from the blue box. That is the power of the blue box. There's another video where we speak about the power of the blue box. You can check it out on our channel as well. That was US dollar chief. That is how it has played out. Now the DXY, obviously this is the inverse of euro US dollar. We simply expected a 3-wave pullback, which we discussed here as well. And then we're expecting this to continue to the downside. So this is what we have here on the DXY. Inch perfect, it makes a move to the upside. We expected a pullback. That's the pullback. We expected a move to the upside. That's the move to the upside. This is the power of wave analysis. Only with wave analysis can you forecast more than 3 moves or for the next 10 years. I think I've shown you last week that you can actually forecast 10 years, 15 years ahead, or decades ahead if you've got that data. Now this is New Zealand. Obviously this is another US dollar pair, so we're expecting New Zealand to push to the upside and then make a move here. This is way prior before the NFP, and we're looking for this. How did New Zealand US dollar play out? So that was New Zealand US dollar. We're looking for this one to push to the upside here, and then we can move to the downside and then upside like that. So before the NFP, this is where we were. Let's see how this plays out. Okay, so this is the New Zealand. We're looking for this to come into the blue box and push to the upside. Let's see how the NFP plays out here. We get into the blue box, we reverse. Now, what is the expectation? We're expecting now continuation to the upside. Now, as you can see, these are all the US dollar pairs, and this is how we forecasted all of them. Now, this chart here on pound yen, this is trade recaps. Now we are out of the US dollar pairs. This was the 28th of April. Look at that. We're looking for this to go all the way up to 156. Let's just look at that. So all the way up to 156. And just don't have access to the chart where we focused at the move to the downside here and then upside. Now we have now reached that level that we were expecting with pound yen. This is where we were around here. We're expecting this to go all the way to 156, which we have now already reached. We've already reached 156. Do we now get the reversal? But we can see the sequence is telling us that we are only at wave 3 in this Y degree. So we want to see the wave 5 to complete the move to the downside. That is pound yen, and that's how we looked at pound yen. Let's look at the rest, euro US dollar. Euro US dollar, we're looking for a pullback here and then a move to the upside. New Zealand has bounced from the blue box. Make note of this blue box. You'll see here, this was all in the week as well. We've bounced from the blue box to around this area. Let's see how the chart has played out. That is New Zealand. Remember, this was the blue box. This is now the second blue box. So we're here, we've pushed up higher here. So that is the power of the blue box with the indicator. Only with wave analysis can you forecast the moves like this. So this was a Audi US dollar forecasting a reversal from the blue box. We've just made a bounce now. We're expecting that this will play out as follows, and then we'll look for a move to the upside. Right, so that is Audi, that is AUDCAD. Now look at AUDCAD. AUDCAD, we forecasted a move from here, expecting it to come around this level. This is actually a blue box. We're looking for this to continue to the upside. You'll see that we are now around that area. This is where we were looking for the drop. We are now here. We're looking for this now to start pushing to the upside. You'll see then when you do the crosses shortly. Now, this is an amazing one. We have been tracking this one during this video, this analysis, or during the weekly outlook, where we're looking for these to be a diagonal. Now we're looking for that to be a leading diagonal and expecting this to make a 3-wave pullback. We forecasted this right from the blue box and expected oil to continue pushing to the upside. Where are we now with oil? Around 71, going for 72. That is the power of wave analysis. Only with wave analysis can you pinpoint entries like this. This is Brent crude oil. We're expecting more upside. Just look for pullbacks and more upside there. That is Brent crude. The Nikkei also, we focused that this was going to push to the downside into the blue box and reverse to the upside. This is how the Nikkei has played out. We are bouncing from the blue box. What is the expectation? The expectation is for the Nikkei to continue pushing to the upside. So those are some of the trade recaps. Some of those we will discuss as we go on with the analysis. Let's start with this week's analysis and have a look at how this has played out. All right, let's have a look now. Today's analysis, let's go to some of the charts here. I want to complete some of the charts that we did not look at here. So the US dollar pairs we have already gone through. I want you to look at US dollar CAD. We didn't look at US dollar CAD. So US dollar CAD, this is a Friday 1 hour chart just before the NFP. We expect this to continue pushing to the upside here. To complete this structure, what were we looking for here? We were simply looking for this to make a 3-wave structure with a complex correction there and a move to the downside. We have made this. We are now coming to the downside. Okay, so that is a CAD. This is how CAD is playing out. Let's have a look at it. This is US dollar CAD. How does it play out? That was the expectation. Let me just switch off here so we can see only the structure. So this is the structure A, B, C. We're looking for this to be a flat correction, textbook flat correction. This should still push to the downside. So that is a US dollar CAD, and that is how we're expecting continuation to the downside there on US dollar CAD. The rest of this we've already done. Let's see here. We also had pound US dollar. Let's have a look at pound US dollar. Let me see if I have it here on the 1 hour. Also before the NFT, look at this one. All the US dollar pairs before the NFP rather, we're looking for this to reverse from the blue box. This was a flat correction here with a WXY structure and expecting a move to the upside. We are still expecting that. So this is how this has played out: a move down in 3, a move up in 3, a move down in 3, a simple WXY corrective structure. We have pushed to the upside. Now the question is, do we continue pushing to the upside? Now, if you were trading the NFP, this is how you would have traded this. And regardless of whether you had access to the news or you understood fundamental analysis or you understood how that was what the numbers were gonna be, whether the forecasted the unemployment numbers and all of those, it does not matter if you've got the structure, because you cannot control how the market reacts to the news. Okay, remember the market moves based on how the market reacts to the news. It is not the news that moves to the market, it is the reaction of the market to the news. So that is never something, that is something that is very difficult to predict, but the answer lies in the charts. This is pound US dollar. We've gone through all the US dollar pairs. Let's go through the yen pairs. We've already gone through pound yen. As we've indicated, we have now reached that 156 that we forecasted a couple of months ago or weeks ago. So now we are currently here. We're looking at this. We're looking for this one to start making a move to the downside, at least around this level for now. Okay, so that's how we're going to be looking at pound yen, US dollar yen. So US dollar yen, we're expecting it to continue pushing to the upside. Let's go back to the 1 hour chart here. We expected US dollar yen to go and take this level. We expected this to take this level. We have not gone to that level. Instead, what we are having here is a three-wave structure as follows, and it looks like US dollar yen will end here, but not to rush on this one here, because this looks like a continuation pattern with an expanding flat. That means here we can still have this as a move to the upside. We can still take that top here at 111. So wait for the structure here to complete. Then you can have 5 waves here, 3 waves here, and 5 waves here coming to take here, possibly even this on US dollar yen. All right, so that is US dollar yen, euro yen. Now, euro yen, we're getting a pullback. We are not selling euro yen just as yet. We'll only wait for that confirmation if it comes. So what we're looking for euro yen is only a pullback. Whether it goes back to the 132, eventually we are looking for a 1 4-hour trade setup to the upside. For now, we are pulling back. We're expecting this to do that. So we're just gonna give it a bit more time to give us more data. CHF yen. Let's have a look at CHF yen. So CHF yen is the same as it's correlated to euro yen. So we've got to move down here. What it looks like is happening here is we've got to move up here. Looks like a 3 here. We're going to expect a bounce here, and we have something like this. This is CHF yen. We'll be expecting a 4-hour correction for more upside. All right, CAD yen. CAD yen, only a pullback. Remember, this is correlated to oil. Those who remember, we had a setup here that we got 5 waves here. So we got 5 waves on CAD yen when it did these 3 waves here. Now we got a move here from the blue box. We've got a trade here, and then it went for 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So this is where we exited our trade. We exited here, and we were looking for a new entry, which came here in this form here. So this was a new entry here. It was a bit of a complex one, did not quite give a good entry. So I'm still not in this trade here again, since exiting here. So I'll be waiting for this to give us another deeper corrective structure. So if we're gonna get something like this here, then that's when I'm gonna start looking to get involved on CAD yen. All right, so that is CAD yen, and we've already gone through New Zealand. You've seen how New Zealand has played out. Is this going to push to the upside? So the only trick part about New Zealand, expecting upside here. So you can get this one doing this, but this could be the end of this. There's a possibility that this is a 3-wave structure here. This is a 3-wave structure. Let's draw it cleanly. Let's draw it cleanly so you can see it clearly. We came down here in 3 waves. We're going up correctively, and this looks like a complex running flat here. So we could be getting a structure like this. We've already broken up above the top here. So we could be getting a move here to the downside like this, which could make a running or an expanding before we push to the upside. So for now, let's watch the reaction around this area and see what confirmation we get. AUD yen, we've already looked at the AUD yen as well. Let's see AUD yen. All right, so AUD yen, let's see how this is going to play out. So we've got 3 waves here in the 4-hour. We have got another 3 waves here as follows. So this could be our trade setup. So we'll be looking for this to go and take the top around this area. Now with the red degree here, let's use the red here. So we'll be looking for this to go and take this top here. Okay, how will that complete the structure? Possibilities are for this to make a double corrective structure here for more upside. So let's watch this for upside here. That is AUD. Now gold and silver. Let's have a look at silver and gold. Now, gold and silver, obviously, they also have a US dollar pay, the US dollar currency in it. So the NFP would have had an effect on silver and gold as well. So let's look at the commodities and look at those charts before the NFP. Okay, let's check that out. So this is gold. Let's look at the 1 hour chart on gold. So gold on the 1 hour, this is the morning before, or about 4 hours before the NFP result. We're expecting this to push to the upside. We now have this move. The question is, are we going to get the double as we are forecasting here, or is this all a correction? The answer will be in the silver chart. We'll see how the silver chart is playing out, whether we get a double or we're going to get a single, and that is all on gold. You see the silver chart shortly. So, but so far we've got that move. Let's have a look at that move now. That is the move that I was referring to. So we've already forecasted that move from 1860 to 1889. That is gold. Do we now push to the upside like that, or are we going to get one more down first before we go as we forecasted? Now, as I said, the answer lies in the silver chart. Let's have a look at the silver chart. 1 hour. Now, this is the silver chart on the 1 hour. Again, the morning before the NFP, we're looking for this one to be in the blue box and push to the upside. We've already made a reversal. We did not quite get into the blue box. We missed it by a few pips, measly few pips. So this has already come to around this level. Let's have a look at silver. The current structure on silver. This is silver. So that is silver now. As I was saying, the gold structure, the answer lies in the silver chart. So as you can see, the silver chart has made a nice flat correction, has made a nice impulse. So we'll be looking for this to continue to the upside. Silver and gold are correlated. So we will expect silver and gold to continue pushing up higher together. So that was silver and this is gold. So we are expecting that gold has instead made an expanding flat here, and we're going to see more upside. So you see this inter-market analysis. You cannot trade a single currency in isolation. So it should be inter-market. So we are looking for this on gold based on the silver structure. All right. So that is silver and gold. Brent crude, we've already looked at oil. Let's have a look at, there's nothing new on oil. We are just bullish on oil until you get a pullback. Until you get a pullback, you've already seen this one during the trade recaps. Let's go through the rest of the pairs. Let's look at pound CAD. Pound CAD has been in a sideways correction since the second week of April. So that's the 4 hour here. We have been looking for this to break out of this structure and make a move to the upside. It has not quite broken out of it yet. So all we're trying to do is to figure out this corrective structure. Initially, we were looking at this to be a complex correction that was going to give us a structure like this, and then we're going to make a move to the upside. That still has not happened, and we are still seeing that this is not going to push to the upside as yet. We're going to get another leg to the downside here in the next week. So is this going to be the one that goes to the upside? Then we're going to update the structure. Then the structure will play out something like this. That will be our structure. And that is how we're going to look for this to push to the upside. So that is a pound CAD and how we're looking at it. For now, we're expecting a short move to the around this structural level here before we get a push to the upside. We're not doing anything on pound CAD as yet. Pound AUD. Let's have a look at pound AUD on the daily, or we can start on the 4 hour. This is a clear structure on the 4 hour here. We'll look at the daily as well. So if you remember, initially we were looking at pound AUD to be doing this 3 waves and then move to the downside. Okay, so it did not go all the way to the downside as we had expected. Instead, it made another leg to the upside. Now the structure is playing out as follows. So if that is the structure, we are just waiting for the trend to continue to the downside. Are we ready to continue to the downside here with the pound AUD? So we want to see if it's simply going to give us a 3-wave pullback as follows. We want to see if we're going to get a 3-wave pullback as follows, or if this is ready for a move to the downside. So that is pound AUD. We are looking at this. There's very strong divergence here. So we'll be expecting this to at least give us a move back to the 50% of this last leg. So the structure here is a W, is a X, is a Y. So which is telling you that this is the orthodox low here for this move to the downside. So we're looking for this, look for continuation to the downside, at least back to the 50% here on pound AUD. New Zealand, same. So New Zealand, the same. So New Zealand is a little bit tricky, not showing complete down. So that's the reason why we are focusing only 50% on pound AUD and not focusing all the way down, is because of how New Zealand is playing out. This is the structure that we looked at on the New Zealand, and we're expecting, just like pound AUD, that this was done. It is actually not done, because we can see a move down, a move up in 3. So there's a possibility that we are going to get another move here to the downside to come and retest this level. Will this now make a structure like this, or is that the end of the move? We're taking it one move at a time. So currently we are here. We'll look for this one to at least come back to this level. That is pound New Zealand, pound CHF. Now remember the pound CAD structure on the 4-hour. I want to show you the pound CHF structure on the daily and what happened when that structure stayed in that range for a long time. Remember we were in this range for some time here on pound CHF. Right, so we looked at this structure to be giving us 1, 2, 3 down, and this one to be 1, 2, 3 up, and this one to be 1, 2, 3 down before a move to the upside. Now, what was that structure? So that structure, if I just remove this, so we're expecting something similar on pound CAD, that when this is done, then we're going to get a move to the upside. So that structure here is a WXY corrective structure. And as you can see, after the completion of that structure, we get an impulsive move to the upside. Now, what are we looking for here currently on pound CHF? We're looking for this to give us a structure here like that. It's a corrective structure. And then we're going to look for this before we get upside. Let's go to the 4-hour and look at that structure. All right, so this is now pound CHF. It's just going sideways here. So we've got the 3 waves here. We've got an impulsive move to the upside. It looks like we've got an impulse here. We're looking for this to be a corrective structure. And we're going to get this here, upside, downside, and then we're going to have this one back to around the 129 level. The completion of this structure will come from this. Will come from this. Right, so this is what we're going to look for. This is what we're going to be looking for. So short term, downside to around this level. So we are looking for this corrective structure just to complete. Even when it completes, we're not looking for this to go all the way to the upside. So let's just wait for this and see how this is going to play out. Short term in the coming session, just to come around this level. That is a pound CHF. Let's look at the euro pairs. Looking at the euro pairs. So with the short-term downside on the pound pairs, we're going to expect this to come in around this level to give us a 3-wave corrective structure. This is euro pound. So euro pound, expect a 3-wave pullback, possibly something like this. Okay, so that's how we're going to be looking at that. Euro AUD. So euro AUD, I want to go to the daily on these because that's how you can see the structure clearly. So this here, we've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3 here. Is this the end of the move? I was not expecting this to reverse at current levels, but if we're going to get a confirmation for a downside, we're going to take this move back to around this level. And if you look at that move, that is a 700 pip move. Okay, so that's the move that we've been looking for here, but it has now made a WXY corrective structure here. We're going to get this one to start giving us continuation patterns for more downside. Let's have a look at how that's going to play out. Euro New Zealand as well on the daily. If you look at Euro New Zealand, we've also made a move up in 3. Currently, we are in this structure, the 3 down here, the 3 up. So we could be getting here another 3 down as follows. So this is what I mean by 3 down, 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 down here. So we'll be looking for this to get around this level. Will it give us a double corrective structure in the bigger degree like this? Let's see how that's going to be play out. So we're going to be watching for this here. Going to be watching for that around that level. Okay, so that is Euro New Zealand. Structure that we'll be looking for in the week is this one. All right, those are the Euro pairs, EURCHF. This was our trade of the week. Last week, let's go to the 4-hour. This has gone in the forecasted direction, but slow. It has been a pretty slow move. So we took this one from here around this blue box area, right here at this blue box, went down, came back again to the blue box. It is now here. So there's likelihood that this makes a double correction here like this. If it makes that double correction here, we'll be looking for this to still continue to the downside because we are bearish in the medium term. So we are looking for this one to be a WXY corrective structure and then downside. That is a EURCHF. Right, EURUSD. EURUSD, we're expecting this to continue to the downside. Last week we were here, we're expecting this to be a flat and take us to the new blue box around this area. Okay, so that is EURUSD. So EURUSD, this is the structure, WXY here. when we are looking for this to make a move to the upside. What are we looking at here? There are 3 waves here within each structure. Okay, let me just clear here. There are 3 waves here within each structure. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're looking for these last 3 to the downside before we bounce to the upside. That is how we're looking at EUROCHF. AUD New Zealand. So AUD New Zealand, as much as this looks impulsive, we should see a pullback here. The indicator is telling us a pullback. It's not showing us a break above this. The indicator is showing us that we're going to reverse from current levels. AUDCAD. So AUDCAD, we have been talking about how the CAD pairs, those pairs that have got a CAD as the quoted currency, are starting to form a base here. So we've got this. So AUDCAD, if you look at that, we have made this 3-wave structure as follows. This is a clear ABC structure. We're starting to make a bounce. Are we ready for a move to the upside here on AUDCAD? Let's see confirmation here for the next week. That is AUDCAD, AUDCHF. We've already looked at AUDCHF during our trade recaps. New Zealand CAD. So New Zealand CAD, similarly, we have made 1, 2. We're looking for this to keep pushing to the downside here like this. We may get this to push to the upside here first before it completes that move, but the structure that we're looking for is that one. And then to the upside. That is New Zealand CAD, New Zealand CHF. So New Zealand CHF is making this nice expanding flat here. So we've got this running flat rather. We've got this SA running flat here. We'll be looking for this to come down to the blue box and push to the upside as follows. This is a WXY corrective structure. So that means at some point here, we need to have ABC here, the same way we had ABC here, and we have a complex correction here as follows. So we're looking for that move to come around these levels. We'll look for upside. That is New Zealand CHF. And lastly, on the Forex pairs, this is CAD CHF. So CAD CHF does not seem ready to be going up as yet. So we forecasted this one from the blue box as follows. So we have bounced up from the blue box. Looks like we're getting this here. We can come back up around this and target and take the previous high. Just move here and just hide some members of the video. Right, so we could come and retest the top here, come back down for 1 before we push to the upside. This is what we're looking at on CAD CHF. Look for this structure to complete. We had our trade setup here, which went up in 5 waves, just like on CAD yen. Now we are currently looking for this to complete for more upside. Right, S&P 500, let's go to the chart here, the S&P 500, let's go to the indices. Right, looking at the indices in the S&P 500, let's go through the 1-hour chart and look at what we forecasted there last week and where we are currently. So last week, we're looking for these 1, 2 here to give us a move to the downside before we push to the upside. So what we are simply looking for here is this corrective structure to complete. Are we going to get this move to the downside? As long as we are still under this level here, that move is still a possibility, because if it just goes from here, the structure will not make sense. There is no such a structure in the wave theory as this. This is not a correction. It is neither of the corrective structures that Elliott discovered. So if this continues to push up from here, that means that this is all the correction and this is a very small correction. So that's why we are still saying that there's a possibility for this. If it does not play out like that, then that's how the market moves. So we'll keep watching that. So the indicator should confirm for us here whether we're going to get a move down first or we're going to get a trade to continue from here. Let's have a look at that structure where we are currently. Let's look at it on the 1 hour. So this is where we are now currently with the S&P 500. We are looking for this to give us this as a 3-wave structure and a drop to around this level. So the drop that we look for here will give us this flat correction and another leg to the upside. That is the case for the Dow as well. Somebody says, Adeni, I'm kind of new here. I went through the videos, but I still don't see a clear entry method. That if you have purchased the course, just ask the questions in the members area on the global chart. You'll be assisted there at Adeni. Right, so this is the S&P 500. Let's look at the rest here. I'm going to go straight to the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ here has made an expanding flat as follows. Looks like we're going to have continuation to the upside to go and retest this level here. Remember what we're looking for here on the NASDAQ. Let's go back to the 4-hour. So what we're looking for here with the NASDAQ was for this here to give us one more down here to come and give us a flat correction. That did not happen. So that means here we're getting a running flat. So if you're going to get trade set up, you can get it from current levels for a break above this. All right, that is the NASDAQ and the UK 100. UK 100. We've got a move down here. We've got 3 waves to the upside, just like the S&P 500 and the Dow. We'll be looking for this one to do that, possibly up, down, and then upside. Okay, so that's how we're looking at the UK 100 and the rest of the pairs here. So let's just go to the NASDAQ here so you can see the 1-hour chart. So this was the expectation here. On the 1 hour on the NASDAQ, we're looking for this one to come around, this to complete that bigger flat correction before we make a move to the upside. This will only be invalidated if we get a trade setup that is going to take this level here. And then we have got the DAX that we got from the blue box. If you remember, this was our blue box on the DXY, not the DXY, the DAX. Right, so the DAX, so we had the blue box set up here on the DAX. 1, 2, 3, bounced, gapped up from the blue box, has come back here, same area, and now we are bullish. So we are still bullish. The DAX, not the DAX. Yes, the DAX, upside. All right, so that is the DAX and what we're expecting to the upside. And the Nikkei on the 1 hour, we are looking for continuation to the upside. You saw this one during trade recaps. That we got this from the blue box and we are still expecting more upside. That's all for this week, guys, on the Forex, commodities, and the indices. Now, if you're interested in the crypto webinar, stay on for in the next 5 minutes. We'll be starting with the crypto webinar. And if you like what we do, if you're enjoying this, if this is something that you want to employ into your strategy, you can drop us a like on the video, subscribe. If you have not already done so, drop us a comment. We appreciate your suggestions as well. Don't forget to hit that notification bell notification button so that you can get an alert next time we send another video out. Cheers, everybody. Have a great week. Bye-bye.